and women, also faced with challenges that affect our world and contributing solutions to them. Let's have conversations and get some answers to them through their eyes and voices. Tune in to Perspectives, where we discuss important issues ranging from climate change, politics, health, the economy, and lifestyle on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. Weekdays from midday. Perspectives. Conversations that matter.
The issues. Everybody respected that because it was coming from the president.
Theory behind it, the way the people took the battle in their hands.
Some civil servant retired without a roof over his head.
The cause.
If we cannot trust you, then you cannot take the ticket of this country.
Abuja.
Wake up. Reach out. Speak up. Speak out. You are the voice of a new generation. And this
is your station.
Talk Radio 93.7 Citizen FM.
This is 93.7 Citizen FM. Abuja.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Citizen FM News at 6. I am Lawrence Umoiti. First, the headlines. Defense headquarters allay fears over United Nations fighting vehicles in Nigeria. House of Representatives condemn calls for interim national government. Finland finally joins North Atlantic Treaty Organization. The defense headquarters in Nigeria says the country is not under any threat that will warrant the deployment of United Nations troops in the country. This was contained in a statement issued by the Acting Director of Defense Information, Brigadier General Toko Oguzo, in reaction to videos on social media showing military fighting vehicles in Nigeria branded in the colors of the United Nations. According to the statement, the vehicles were being moved from Warri port, from where they would join the United Nations Interim Security Force for Abyei mission in southern Sudan. Ahead of the May 29th handover, the defense headquarters has vowed to resist anything that would truncate democracy. The Director of Defense Information, Brigadier General Toko Oguzo, stated this in Abuja just as the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, threatened to crack down on potential threats to national security and warned the indigenous people of Biafra, the Eastern Security Network, and other French groups not to test the will of the military.
Nigerian Army troops deployed for Operation 190 and foreign sanity have projected forces and intensified offensives to clear bandits' enclaves. This operation have destroyed criminal hideouts, neutralized several bandits, and subjected the remaining elements to situation where they are mostly either targeting civilians or they are on the run. We must therefore maintain the tempo and leave no stone unturned to sustain this commandment.
An end may have finally come to the age-long Cold War between the Nigeria Police Force and the Police Service Commission, as the Inspector General of Police Usman Alkali Baba has paid a historic courtesy visit to the new chairman of the commission, Solomon Arase, in Abuja. The IGP, who was accompanied by the management team of the force on arrival at the commission's temporary headquarters, immediately went into a closed-door meeting with the chairman of the commission and members.
Your responsibility, or the commission's responsibility, in repositioning the Nigerian Police Force in terms of promotion, discipline, and appointment are key issues that are being carried out in this place here today. We want to assure you that you are welcome on board. We will cooperate with you. We will also ensure that we make the job easy by trying to adhere to all that is required.
The House of Representatives has condemned a call for an interim national government in Nigeria after May 29, 2023. The lawmakers fear that such calls are capable of truncating the country's democracy and causing anarchy across the country. This followed a motion of urgent national importance raised by a member, Onyema Idem, drawing attention of the Green Chambers to the statement issued by the Department of State Services warning of plots to install an interim government. The House urged security agencies to be on alert and warned aggrieved parties to await the outcome of litigation before the court. Meanwhile, the Senate has frowned on the continuous stay in the mortuary of the remains of a former Senate President, Joseph Wires, 14 months after he died in a London hospital. Wires, who was a senator in the Second Republic, died on November 20, 2021 after hospitalization at the London hospital, and his remains were deposited at the morgue in the hospital. 14 months later, the Senate, through a motion moved by Senator Gershom Bassi, declared that the delay in the burial of the former Senate President was embarrassing to the Senate and the federal government. The National Emergency Management Agency has received another batch of 144 stranded Nigerians from Niamey in the Niger Republic. NEMA Coordinator, Kano Territorial Office, Dr. Nuruddin Abdullahi, discloses while receiving the returnees at Malam Aminu Kano International Airport in Kano. Abdullahi, who was represented by NEMA Kano Head of Human Resources, Suleiman Abubakar, said that the returnee arrived at the airport at about 2:30 p.m. There is a call for every player in the Nigerian media space to play according to the rules of the game. This was the central message at the launch of the Nigeria Media Complaints Commission. The commission, which has its membership from the traditional and new media, also has membership from the civil societies and the academia.
The excuse government has always given in the past is that the media is operating illegally and they're doing things contrary to the law. Our argument in the past has always been that there are more than enough laws to try erring journalists. So if you publish libel, there is a libel law already existing. So you can be taken to court for that.
All we have done in our life is that nobody with the power will control the people. So what we are doing here today is benefits.
Gunshots were heard on Monday when members of the All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party in Rivers State clashed in Port Harcourt, the state capital, over inspection of electoral materials. Trouble started when the APC governorship candidate Toyin Cole and members of his party arrived at the office of the Independent National Electoral Commission in the state capital to inspect materials used in the last election in the state.
The
began to assault me. They came out, a woman grabbed my shirt, then they began to pull me from the back, started throwing, first they were using water and all of that, then they began to throw food, and the next minute they started throwing stones. Next thing after that, we started hearing gunshots. It took my security people to forcefully evict me.
This situation caused pandemonium as the PDP members demanded a joint inspection of the election results and the certified true copies of result sheet for the just concluded 2023 general elections. The PDP protesters had blocked both the water lines and GRA areas of Aba Road, the two major access points to INEC head office. No car was able to drive through that stretch of Aba Road from the ground, while those on the GRA flyover were trapped because of the protest.
Materials without the other political parties. We have applied to INEC, to the court, for joint inspection of result sheets and electoral materials. So we have come physically to register our protest and our presence that INEC cannot allow any of the political parties to inspect materials without the order. We are saying, even us as PDP, don't allow us to inspect the electoral materials without the other political parties.
The Labour Party has dismissed the purported suspension of its national chairman, Julius Abure, by its ward executive in Eson Northeast local government area of Edo State, saying the masterminds were being sponsored by the opposition parties. The Labour Party said no reasonable party member would be thinking of suspension when they are pursuing their presidential mandate in the Election Petition Tribunal.
I foresee that they are being sent and sponsored by opposition political parties. And I don't want to mention the names of those parties here, who are afraid of the fortune, of the strength of the Labour Party. The Labour Party have become a very big movement and one family that it will be difficult for any person to infiltrate. And I want to use this as an opportunity to tell them that they should have thought of a more decent way of doing it.
And for some foreign stories now, Finland has become the 31st member of NATO in a historic realignment of Europe's defenses that drew an angry warning of countermeasures from the Kremlin. Russia's all-out invasion of Ukraine last year upended Europe's security landscape and prompted Finland and its neighbors, Sweden, to drop decades of military non-alignment. Finland's Foreign Minister Pekka Haavisto formally wrapped up the process by handing Helsinki's ascension paper to U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, the formal keeper of NATO's founding treaty. And for some sports stories, British boxer Amir Khan has been banned for 2 years after an anti-doping test revealed the presence of a prohibited substance following his fight against Kell Brooks in February 2022. The former light welterweight world champion tested positive for Australian. Khan, who retired from boxing in May, accepted he broke anti-doping rules but said it was not intentional. And before we end the news, a recap of the highlights. The defense headquarters in Nigeria has allayed fears over the United Nations fighting vehicles in Nigeria. The House of Representatives has condemned calls for interim national government. And on the foreign scene, we told you that Finland has finally joined NATO. And that's it on the Citizen FM News at 6. I'm Lawrence Umoite.
93.7 Citizen FM.
Let's talk about it on our favorite radio station.
We're more than just a radio station. We are a part of your life.